I remember Tori coming to me one time and in tears, which she doesn't normally do. And I asked her what was wrong, and she said DeSantis.
Check out this story from CNN. They're saying this family of four in suburban Florida shares why they're packing up to leave because they have a kid who is a quote unquote transformer, aka they are abusing this child. But here, take a look. This is from CNN, and this is just hilarious. We'll talk about it in a second, but let's watch it first, okay?
We just thought it would be a nice, warm place to live where we could get to beaches.
I just never thought that I would have to flee a state for the good of my children.
The SB 254, this will permanent outlaw the mutilation of minors.
I remember Tori coming to me one time and in tears, which she doesn't normally do. And I asked her what was wrong, and she said DeSantis. And like the fact that a governor would be making my kid cry, that's a messed up government.
I'm sure that 1000% really happened, by the way. That's highly normal, by the way. That's totally not signs of either A, a totally fake story, or B, you know, the kid has some type of other issues going on, because that's just not a normal thing for a young boy to be crying about. But of course not. All right, let's continue.
We're absolutely moving because of the political climate and the laws in Florida. We didn't want to move.
Good, get out.
When the Florida Board of Medicine started meeting and we realized that they were going to ban gender-affirming care for our kids, that we might need to leave because that is life-saving, essential medicine and treatment for our daughter.
Life-saving, essential medicine.
I was very relieved when we decided to leave. I had never really heard that much about trans people, and until I was like 11 or 12, I didn't even know trans people existed. So I was just used to being uncomfortable. I started hormone blockers pretty soon after that.
I feel so genuinely bad for this kid. You know, as much as we want to, you know, dunk on people, and I feel genuinely very bad because around 11 or 12, right, puberty is starting to come on. There's so much confusion that happens in puberty. For a lot of us, it's not sexual confusion, but there's a lot of, you know, there's a lot of different hormones firing. There's a lot of different stuff going on. You know, I remember when I was in 7th grade or so, I was just really angry all the time, and I was just kind of like really belligerent for no reason, and that's how. So there's a lot of ways that puberty just impacts people and affects people, and oftentimes it passes. But now, you know, this person, instead of just being told, oh, it'll pass, you know, you're fine, don't worry about it, you know, now this person, this guy is going to have to live with these permanent effects for the rest of his life, right? And if he does what a lot of trans youth do, which is later on decide, oh, I don't know if I want to do this anymore. As much as they so often say hormone blockers are totally safe and there's no permanent effects, that's totally debunked. Okay, there are absolutely permanent effects. I mean, just use your common sense. You're screwing with your body's natural process of puberty, which develops all of us people into who we are. So of course something's going to be very wrong there. And you know, this person's parents, instead of just doing the responsible thing, which is, honey, maybe you're just confused. Maybe it is what it is. Listen, puberty, you know, you're going to feel a lot of different things. It's normal. Instead, what do they say? Permanent life-altering decision. This person will never truly be normal after the hormone therapy, and then I'd have to imagine there's probably going to be cosmetic stuff done sooner or later. So it's just tragic. It really is. But before we continue with that, we need to talk today about your retirement, because folks, I think we all can observe the current state of the economy. We know this country is on the verge of recession, and in times like these, it is very difficult to rely on traditional currency. It is difficult to rely on traditional stock portfolios, IRAs, and retirement accounts, which is why you need to be protected with our friends today over at Noble Gold Investments. What Noble Gold Investments offers are gold and precious metal IRAs, right? These are retirement accounts, but instead of being backed to stocks or whatever else, they are backed by the price of gold. Why is that a good investment? Why is that a good idea? Because when, you know, the currency goes up in flames, what do human beings resort to historically? Gold, silver, your precious metals, right? They generally retain value throughout human history. There's a reason why whenever human civilization defaults back to its natural state, gold and silver coins become the original currency. So be sure to go check them out. Okay, protect your retirement over at thevincedao.gold.com. Again, that is thevincedao.gold.com. Do not wait for everything to go up in flames and then wish you had done it, right? Protect your retirement, gold and precious metals IRAs at thevincedao.gold.com. All right, back to the video.
We are seeing many families that are leaving. I really think if you were to ask a member of a trans family, they would tell you they go to bed at night dreaming of how to get out of the state.
So that's the dining room right here, and then this is the living room.
See, it's funny. They're making the argument that these kids have issues. That's actually the argument that they're making, because these are just not normal things for 13 or 14-year-old kids to be a concern with, to tell you the truth. But, you know, either it's that their parents are making a big deal out of it, which is probably part of it. And then the other part, right, you know, is that the kids themselves probably have some issues going on. By the way, shame on this father especially. This is part of why there's a masculinity crisis in America, because fathers, like, even we always talk about absent fathers, right? But I would say even a lot of fathers in this country who are there, you're still not doing your job. You're not actually being men, partially because you yourself are not a man. They've spent decades getting emasculated by their wives, and then this is the path you end up down. It's pathetic. But anyways, total sidetrack. Let's get back into this.
My hope for the McKee family is they are able to find a community that embraces them.
We're lucky that we're able to get out. We're able to afford to leave. A lot of people can't, or it's going to be very difficult.
I feel really bad for the people that have to stay here. It's been difficult to access my hormones. I'm not honestly sure how I would continue to access care. Even if I wasn't trans, I wouldn't be comfortable here. It's just not a safe environment for queer people in general.
I do fear for my daughter's safety, and just the fact that somebody might want to hurt her just for her being her, for her existence, is scary. I worry about her every time she goes out. I'll miss the wide open view.
Yeah, sunsets are great from
Get
here.
out. Go to California, okay? Please don't go this weekend, because I'm going to California this weekend. But just go to California, okay? You can get a view, and it's probably 10 times more expensive, but...
No. I'm looking forward to just being in a place where I don't feel under attack, where I don't feel oppressed. It's just so sad that our country and our society are in this place of denigrating people like that and making them feel like they have no place.
It's just hard to start over all over again.
It's genuinely going to be much harder to start over again. You know, if you ever realize that you don't want to do that, do what you're doing right now. And so let me just say that on that front. But I will say, this is a good thing, right? This is what liberals, by the way, have been doing to us for so many years, right? How many liberals have left California, have left New York? Because they've been driven out, right? The governors of these states have looked explicitly at policy, and, you know, it's not a matter of, I don't think they consciously think, let's get conservatives to leave California, but it's more so a matter of, listen, we are going to fully enact our agenda, and we don't really care what the other side thinks, right? And conservatives in our states for many years have been kind of scared to do that, because we think, oh, if we push too hard, you know, we're gonna get a backlash or whatever, right? And then people are gonna vote out the Republicans. And I think what you're kind of seeing here is that's not what's happening at all. You're just getting the reverse California effect in a state like Florida. Texas is another example. I'm sure, you know, Tennessee and states like that are feeling a similar impact, which is that, yeah, maybe in the short run, you might get a minor backlash. You know, people are hissing and screaming. But really, at the end of the day, what is happening is you terraform your state politically, and ultimately, by the way, I'm not even saying to consciously do this. I'm just saying by virtue of passing conservative policy, what you end up doing is making your state very unlivable for liberals, right? Which is exactly what it is. These liberals, these freaks who want to, you know, trans their kids, it's now basically more or less impossible for them to live in the state of Florida, right? And that's the way it needs to be. That's the way it should be, right? And I think what this goes to prove is that, well, if you want to keep your state red, The best thing to do is not to make compromises with these people. It's not to look at someone, Tennessee, for instance, it's not to look at someone like Justin Jones and be like, oh, well, how do we work together with you? How do we compromise with you? No, the best thing to do actually is to sit down there, pass as many policies that make it hard to be a liberal, right? Make it as impossible virtually to be a liberal in that state, because you can't trans your kids. You can't get an abortion at 10 months. You can't, you can't do any of this stuff, right? That's the way you got to do it. And so I'm very glad to see it's having an impact, and this is partially part of the reason why I wish Ron DeSantis would have just, stayed doing his job as governor, not gotten busy with the political campaign, because obviously his presidential campaign struggling, probably, let's be real, not going to go anywhere. But, this is the good work, the genuinely good work he was doing in his state. And as you can tell, it was making an impact. It is doing something. I think a lot of other governors need to kind of take a look at this, follow suit. This is actually how you kind of maintain power, right? Is you make it a living heck for the opposition, right? That's what you ultimately got to do, right? You reward your side, you do what you believe, and you make it just very difficult to be from the other side living in that state. That's what you got to do. And, in many ways, it's culture war at this point in this country. So that's exactly what you have to do. And truthfully, I really wish DeSantis would kind of just stay in our state and continue doing this instead of wasting a bunch of capital on a primary that he's obviously probably going to lose to Trump. Because liberals already look at their states and they say, we want liberal states to be for liberals. Conservatives, you are not welcome here. So if someone tries to commit crime against you, the police are not going to defend you, right? It's going to be impossible for taxes. You're not going to be able to own a gun. Your kids are going to be taught disgusting stuff in public school, all of that stuff, right? They look at their states and they say, conservatives, you are not welcome here. So what choice do we have, conservative states, conservative governors, other than to sit there and say, well, we need to say to liberals, you are not welcome in our states either. And all the things fundamental to your lifestyle, we should just get rid of it. Get rid of all of it, okay? So, this is what we got to do. This is what you got to do. Because frankly, if liberals don't want to live with us, I don't want to live with them either, truthfully. So you can get out of the state. Okay, just go. We don't want you. Okay, I don't want to live amongst people who, believe that mutilating and permanently castrating their children is okay. I really don't.